today, what we need for every day of our life. So that is ambiguous. That's called ambiguity. You see, we are still looking at another one called apostrophe. 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 Now, an apostrophe is a figurative device. An apostrophe is a figurative device. You know, when I mean figurative device, I mean figure of speech. An apostrophe is a figure of speech used when you use apostrophe when a speaker or a person addresses an abstract figure as though the figure is present. When one addresses an abstract figure as though such figure is present. When one addresses an abstract figure as if it is present, that is one. Apostrophe is used again when a person talks to something that is absent as if it is present. You know, what's the difference between abstract and absent? Abstract is something that you can never see. There is no time that it can be present. For instance, air is abstract. You see that? For instance, love is abstract. For instance, tomorrow is abstract. The future is abstract. Beauty is abstract. Strength is abstract. What if you look at it and say, my strength, please don't fail me. That's abstract. That's apostrophe. Your strength is not present. So in case you are writing and you are saying, why would this man say abstract figure and at the same time still repeat absent figure? They are two different things. Even when something is absent, it's something that you can't see normally on a normal ground, but now it's not there. If you look at that now, for instance, love, you're such a beautiful thing. That is apostrophe. You are addressing an abstract figure as if it's present, as if you can see it. Then let's address an absent figure as if it's present. You know, mother, when you were with me, I knew that life was sweet. But since you've gone, I don't know when I can see you again. And she's absent. On a good day, that type of human being can be present. Or she's no more. So that is an absent figure, as if present. Then you can also use it to address something that can never respond to you, that is present, that cannot talk back, that cannot reply, as if it can talk to you. You want to use your phone, your cheap phone, and you try to make use of your cheap phone. Because the phone is cheap, it's malfunctioning. Then you ask the phone, oh, this phone is not long that I bought you now. Why are you doing this to me? It cannot reply because a cheap phone, you know, yeah. It's all right. You know, somebody's not sleeping. Somebody's trying not to sleep. Somebody's doing everything possible. Somebody's trying. And you look alike. You make a good pair, you know. All right. I believe you are good with the 5 things I've talked about. Then you move on. You look at antithesis. 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 Antithesis is a figurative device. It's a figure of contrast first. It's a figure of contrast, and it is a figurative device that you use. You use it when opposite group of words are juxtaposed. The juxtaposition, that is the placing side by side of opposite group of words. Opposite group of words. That is called antithesis. Placing side by side of two opposite group of words. That's an antithesis. Don't forget that one. The placing side by side of two opposite group of words. The more you look, the less you see antithesis. You can see more in the first one, you see less in the first one. So take note of that. The love I have for you beats anything like hate. You must see one here that has the opposite of the other one. You move to the next one. Assonance. Assonance. Kudos to you guys that have special notes for this class. Some of you have made notes. Yes, some of you are using PCs. They take it for granted. Some of you have notes. Some of you are using Jota. Some of you, in fact, I like what I'm saying. Makes sense. Some of you could buy a book and it has been working. All right. Let's look at assonance. The repetition of the same vowel sound in the middle of words in an expression. Of the same vowel sound in the middle of words in an expression. You can also see repetition of the same vowel sounds in the middle of words in a line of poetry, if you like. Do you understand? Because most times they use figures of speech in poetry. But that does not make it a poetic term. You understand me? It's a general term. But there are some folks that classify figures of speech as poetic terms. No, they can be poetic, but they are not poetic terms. They are general literary terms. So when the same vowel sounds appear in the middle of words, in lines of poetry, or in a statement, then assonance is being used. Told that Ken went there, then fell there. You can hear the sound. That's assonance. We're still making progress. You go to the next one. Bathos. Bathos. I told you before that bathos is also known as anticlimax. As a figure of speech, bathos is also anticlimax. But that does not make us say that bathos also means the next stage after the climax. That does not mean bathos is the next stage after climax. Plot, no. Bathos is a figure of speech. It's a figure of speech when items are arranged in descending order. It's a figure of speech used when items are arranged in descending order. Yes, when items are arranged in descending order, bathos is in place. And that bathos resemblance is the same thing with anticlimax. Next thing is Bildungsroman. 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 Bildungs. Next thing, Bildungsroman. Roman. Bildungsroman. Bildungsroman. You know, Bildungsroman is a figure, it's not a figure of speech, but it is a type of prose. It's a form of prose. It depends now. Depends on what you're writing. Roman can be either fictional prose or non-fictional prose. Depends. But in this form of prose, the narrator tells the narrator tells the story of a character growing from innocence to experience. The narrator tells the story of a character growing from innocence to experience. The narrator tells the story of a character growing from innocence to experience. You know, in this type of story, the narrator tells the story of a character growing from innocence to experience. Are you there? If you pick up a book like that to read, you're going to see a person who starts life and the person grows. Depends, sometimes gets married. Things keep changing. So that kind of story is called Bildungsroman. We have examples of such work. Things like works like Camera Life, African Child is Bildungsroman. African Child by Camera Life is Bring the Bildungsroman. Then we have book like Purple like this called like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is Bildungsroman. Purple like this called like Chimamanda Adichie is Bildungsroman. Then and so on and so forth. So build out a character that grows from innocence to experience. We'll move to the next one. We'll move to the next one. The next one is diction. Diction. In literature, diction is a literary term. Diction is a literary term, not just a literary term, not just a literary term, but a poetic term. Diction is not just a literary term, but a poetic term. It's not just a literary term, but a poetic term used. It is used to describe a poet's choice of words. It's used to describe a poet's choice of words. It is a poetic term used to describe a poet's choice of words. You know, the beauty of a poem largely depends on the diction. Yes, the beauty of a poem largely depends on the diction. The beauty of a poem largely depends on the diction. And now we should know that we have different types of diction. Different types of diction. There's one we call denotative diction. Denotative diction. We have the denotative diction. Denotative diction. You see this type of diction. It is in a work of art, in poetry, when the words used by the poet in his poem have with the words in the dictionary. You see, when the words used by a poet in his poem have the same meaning with the words, that is denotative diction. A good example of that poem is Anne Taylor's poem, My Mother, who said, my infant's head, it's the same meaning. He said, the person that sat down and was watching my lady when sleeping on my bed, when I was sleeping inside my baby's bed. And tears, affection, she shed tears of joy looking at the bundle of joy that God has given to her. Oh, she, my mother. If you check, the meaning of the poem is the same thing you see in the dictionary. But you understand? The same thing. What about this one? Many years on wheels. faithful service to his fatherland. The same meaning. Or you don't understand? Meaning, he has will is the same word. To be on the will is to be many years on will in faithful service to his fatherland. And that's true. Retires he home and exception he holds. That's true. So that type of vision is called denotative. You can denote what the writer. It is easy for you to understand it. But that one, connotative diction. Connotative diction. Connotative diction. This one is the opposite of denotative diction. The connotative diction is used in poems whose words have different meaning from those in the dictionary. You see that? Their words have different meanings from those in the dictionary. Their words have different meaning from those in the dictionary. The connotative diction, they are quoted the symbols and images. Every single word in such poem, if care is not taken, they are symbols of other things. How? Look at them entitled, look at the leader and the led. It says the lion takes his claim to the leadership of the pack. It sounds simple. But in that point, the lion means a leader that is ferocious, a leader that's ready to kill. The lion states his claim to the leadership of the pack. The pack. What do you mean by pack? How many of you have heard the word pack before? Give me one meaning of pack. Okay. Okay. No, like anything pack. Pack. First of all, let's leave the other one. The pack of this. That is the same spelling. That is one. Then pack. P-A-C-K that we are talking about now. Lion. A group of lions means pride of lions. You know, they are not group. Do you understand? A pride of lions. But pack. If you mention pack, if you watch Mowgli, have you watched Mowgli? Mowgli, okay, if you watch any animal film, you hear them saying, the pack is not happy with what you're doing. We don't like what you're doing, talking, you know. We don't want you as our leader. The pack has decided. Anytime they mention pack, we have different animals coming. Are you following? To form a pack. Now, in that poem, the poet says the lion takes his claim to the leadership of the pack. Now, if you see a society, we have different types of human beings there. Both the young and the old, the rich and the poor. That is pack now. It remembers the ferocious powers of his heart. The animals now, they are clear symbols of the followers who are weak. We are living in a society whereby the leaders are far, 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 far higher than the followers. That's why the poet creatively selects his to make sure that leaders are presented as lions by the followers antelope. And if you watch normal documentary, it's an error for a lion antelope. You will eat all of them. You see, so the antelopes remember the ferocious pounds of his paws. They remember how long the fingers are. If they don't follow, he will kill them. So the lion there clearly symbolizes leaders that threaten us, that if you don't vote for me, if you don't do this for me, I will kill you. So they just follow like sheep. Look at this third standard. The hyena. The hyena, if you watch movie where we have hyena, as they are ready to destroy everything, they will be laughing. These are the leaders. Are you following me now? Hyena is a glutton. It eats anything. Can eat your own, eat its own. So it says, the hyena says the crown is made for him. They have the right, for God's sake. Every human being has the right to lead. Like me, I hope one day I will lead. Pray, because it's my right in my country. Huh? It's my right. That's why when my President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he's local, people agree with that word. This is right, for God's sake. He's not a citizen of the country. He has right to rule. Then